there are people who are just anti-war. Right, that's a stance, it's a moral stance, fine, we can argue about it. What we can't argue with the people who are indeed extolling the virtues of one of the most evil regimes in the world, and one which has directed terror attacks on British soil. So how, and against British soldiers in the past, how these people are allowed to carry these things and we're not keeping a close watch is beyond me, frankly.
What do you think we should do?
Well, I think what Priti Patel was saying earlier is the best start. You start with understanding, well, who are these people who are actually carrying the placards? Who's organising the carrying of the placards? Which groups are behind this? Who are they in connection with? Might they be part of Iran's actual system of disruption overseas? If they are, we need to be taking firm action at a time of increased crisis and making sure that any threats to national security are taken care of by the security services.
Well, this is, I mean, we saw the Brize Norton break-in where the planes were vandalised. Would you describe that as an act of terrorism?
Absolutely, because you've seen people break in to a military installation and, OK, they threw paint over the planes. Well, next time, who's to say that they won't actually damage the planes? I mean, there's been a history, if you look at the last 18 months, 2 years, of increased radicalisation on the part of these protesters and what they're prepared to do. It doesn't take a genius to work out that we are on the continuum towards full-scale terrorist attacks against British forces.
I mean, we're talking a lot about Iran's response and a military response, but is there more danger, certainly for the UK, do you think, of it being more a cyber war form, maybe sleeper cells already embedded in this country actually being activated now?
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? So for decades now, we've known about Iranian influence in the UK. We've known about insertion of people here from the regime who have operated even British charities at various points, and examples have been, seen for all to understand. And we've done very little about it. So yes, there is a concern that there is a sleeper cell movement here, not even operating that sleeper, to be honest. It's fairly open. We know the centres of influence and we know how far they've spread. And indeed, there could be cyber attacks, but that is not a reason, of course, to be concerned about the fate of this regime. This regime has its future in its own hands. It can step back from that outcome right now by agreeing to give up its nuclear programme.
So I mean, obviously there is a right to protest, which we have in this country completely. Palestine Action would say they are a protest movement. Would you say more that they are a terrorist movement? Pretty much comparable to Hamas, which is what they've been compared to.
Well, they're a different kind of terrorist movement to Hamas, of course. However, they do, again, fall on, in my view, the broad scope of terrorism. They are seeking to influence the course of action in this country, not through democratic means, but by extra-democratic means. And those means are getting more and more radical as they go along. So I would favour a proscription of them, because they clearly have shown they are now breaking into British bases, and that is just a security situation that can't be tolerated. They've gone beyond the realms of mere protest. Done that for a while, actually, and it's about time we took action, because if you don't take action, the lesson is they will continue.
And just very quickly, why do you think we let people walk through the streets carrying placards like that?
Well, one of it is protest, fine, but I think
the regime is a direct threat to the UK.
Agreed, but of course it isn't, yes, terrorist a threat. Now, what should have happened months and years ago was a proscription of the IRGC. Had we done that, then this would be a very different case in point. We could have arrested those people straight away. So this shows you how foolish it was for the previous government and this government not to act against Iran's terrorist infrastructure. It stops us from taking quick action.